American company that's turning patriotism into purpose. It's an apparel company. It's called Volition America, and it donates part of its profits to Folds of Honor, which provides scholarships to the families of fallen and disabled service members. And Volition CEO and founder John Sapienti is joining us this morning with more. John, thanks so much for joining us. Tell us about Volition and more about your mission to support service members.
Yeah, thank you for having me on. I think it's a very important day in our history, and I was coming on a lot to talk about the brand, but also about how America came together today. And I think it's very important. But to give you a little background, I started the brand about 10 years ago. Volition is the power of choice. So it's really, the brand is about choosing America and coming together as a country and then giving back to our American heroes, first responders and military through Folds of Honor.
So, John, are these all American-made apparel? Is that how this works? And then you give a portion of it for scholarships for first responders' kids?
Well, it's interesting because my day job is I own a couple manufacturing companies, so I'm not an apparel guy. So the brand really came to life as we did collabs with very large brands like Puma, Cobra, Marucci, Gurkha. So we partner with large lifestyle brands. So the clothes come from all over the world, wherever they make it. It's really about bringing people things to wear every day that the badge means something to them. So if you look at our logo, it's really the folded American flag with wings on it. Really, the idea of lifting it up and taking it places it couldn't go. And the idea of the collabs was really they already had large audiences and products people wanted. What they did is we call it volitionizing, but they infused patriotism into their brand with a cause. And that's really what we're doing is we're building a mission to, I call it uniting the country. I talk a lot about you can be far left and far right and love your country. So we're not red and we're not blue, we're red, white, and blue. So this mission is about bringing people together. And 9/11 to me, as you mentioned, you actually just mentioned it earlier about the people coming together around the world. It's a tribute to America that when, no matter how bad things are, all of a sudden we have these things happen and we come together. And, yesterday's event for me were really disturbing because I really want people to come together and empower people to make better choices. And that's what this brand is. And we've got to stop all these bad choices and all this anger and open up our hearts to good. And that's what I'm trying to do with this brand.
John, as part of that mission, part of trying to get Americans together at a time when we're so driven apart, how did your company get involved with Folds of Honor and its founder, Lieutenant Colonel Dan Rooney?
No, I was actually a donor to Folds of Honor. So I got involved on Memorial Day. I spent the weekend with the troops and their families, and I was blown away why we're not helping them. And Dan had the idea of starting a patriotic brand that brings people together, empowers them with the power of volition, and then helps Folds of Honor bring awareness and money back to our fallen soldiers and first responders. So today, we're actually, everything we sell today, we're giving an additional amount of money back to New York first responder families was the goal. And so anything sold through all of our partners or anything sold through our sites, we're going to give an additional 10% right off the top, earmark it for New York City families for first responders to, help remember and celebrate such a terrible day in our history.
That's a fantastic gesture today, especially. So for anybody who's watching, where can they find this? Where do they need to go?
volitionamerica.com, and they'll find all of our products and all of the story behind it and what we're trying to do. And I just encourage people to open up their hearts and come together. It doesn't matter what your opinion is. Listen to the other side and, let's love America the way we should.
Yeah, John, I mean, I'm so glad that you're saying that message, and you alluded to Charlie Kirk's assassination. It's devastating. I mean, as I think we all agree, heated political rhetoric leads to political hatred, leads to violence. And I don't know if you have any thoughts for how to take down the temperature.
No, I think there's so much focus on negativity. And I've said this a lot before. Talking about things in a negative manner, you're eventually going to convince people around you of the negative imagery and the negative feelings. So we need to share more than just the negative. We need to share the positive. So if I tell you someone's a great person enough times, eventually you're going to see the good in people. And I think we really need to get away from the extreme left and the extreme right negative noise and really come together, the 90% or whatever it is, and say we're done with this and let's celebrate what's great about America. There's so many great things that we do as a country. I mean, the giving and and how immigration and you can by your bootstraps build your American dream. Why are we not celebrating these great things? And I agree, we have warts and things to fix. I'm not discounting that, but it's still a great country, and we need to celebrate it and not have the hatred in our hearts.
People might hesitate to try to overcome that hatred. Do you think moments like this is what finally induces people to try to reach across the aisle, to try to make things better, to try to get to a brighter place in the dark moment we're in now?
I hope so. I don't think it's that easy where one event's going to cure everything. But the power of volition is the power of choice. So you can make choices every day to be happy, sad, love, or hate. And what we're trying to do is teach people to use volition in their life to make better choices. And if you wake up today, if we can get to one person or 10 people or 1,000 people and say, let's love in our heart today and let's remove some of the hatred and let's try to listen to the other side. And I think we'll eventually get there. So it's your responsibility, it's my responsibility. And I think all of us should understand that we can help control this by making a choice today. Let's choose to love each other and limit the hatred.
An inspirational message on this day of all days. John Sapienti, thanks so much for joining us, and we appreciate it.